Hey, it's the Chief Bonding with Board Games and RPGs. I'm back. It's Chris McDowall and his Mythic Bastionland. If you've seen my unboxing, I did it. Then I started reading it, and then I hit a page called Sites. Let me flip this little ribbon. Nice little black ribbon here. We have Sites. I'll probably throw a photo in if you can't see it, but you've got this quick, light, elegant method to make any kind of site, a place. It could be, in this case, they'll describe a harbor. I'll show you how that works. And then I've got a piece of paper and a Sharpie, and we're going to just make one real quick to see how easy it is. But I needed one for a necromancer that my in-person group killed. They shouldn't have been able to kill him, but they got really tricky and they killed him. And as the session was winding down, they had found his subterranean lair, and they were beginning to explore with intentions to loot, and then one of the group had to get home for childcare. Whew, thank God. I could have handled the cavern delving part of it, no problem. I'm real good at ad hoc on the fly. It was more like, what's going to be in here? They found a couple things pretty quick, a couple traps that I knew would be there, even though part of the death of the necromancer was a full retreat of the swamp that had partially concealed or wholly concealed the lair. But I wanted a real quick one. I wanted a real quick way to create that because I don't like spending a ton of prep. So let me explain this first. You can see this little map here. So the first thing it says is you're just going to make 6 points and then 2 points above and below, and then throw a 7th point in the center. Then you erase one of those points. You can obviously adjust this in any way you want. This is just the default. You're going to create direct routes. What is it? 1, 2, 3 direct routes that move around. And then you'll put 2 difficult or hard to pass routes with a little line that cross-sects one of the routes. And then there'll be one hidden path. You'll have an arrow that shows the standard entrance, and then you'll have a dashed line, kind of like the hidden path, for a secondary arrow that the group or the party might find. All right, I'm going to come in and show you the structure real quick. You're making 7 dots, one in the center, and then you're making like an octagon. So I'm going to use a Sharpie just so you can see it. Normally I would use a pencil so I can erase. I would normally make another one right here, but that's the one I think I'm going to erase. I'm just making this up on the fly. So I'm going to do one in the center, and then for that octagon feel, one at the top and one at the bottom. Now this could be anything. In the book they're describing a cove. It's like a hidden cove with ladders and stuff that move you from point to point, because now it's a point-to-point map. But the first thing we're going to do is I need 3 circles, 2 triangles, and I need a diamond. The diamond is going to be like the cache or the gold hoard or the whatever. So I want to make it in the center, I think. And then we'll do some circles. Let's just keep it easy. And we'll turn these. Horrible triangle, kind of big. Goodness, butchered that. All right, you're getting the idea. Now, I want an entry point. And all right, just off the top of my head, this is going to be an approach on an island, and this diamond represents like a castle or a keep on the island. So we need the kind of like the book, the approach that we're going to come in. I'm going to say that we're sneaking in. This is going to be a stealth mission. So we are coming into like this overgrown, it's not like a beach. It's more like we're able to come up on these cliffs or bluffs. So let me do our arrow first. So those are going to be our bluffs. Now off to the side, as I shade it, let me come in from here. Off to the side, what I do is write down like 1, because we're going to number this as 1. And I would list that as like these bluffs or these cliffs. We're basically going to come up at night and we're going to scale these cliffs. So the point of interest is it's cliffs. It's not going to be too hard. We've got some ropes. Maybe there's a point person that's climbing. But once we get up there, we now know that this area isn't guarded as well, but we're going to have to like sneak down a, I don't know, some kind of wall area that would normally be guarded. So I've put a cross across that line because the path to point 2 is like a wall, but this bluff is going to put us up on it. But the difficulty is guards. So my point 2 would show a brick wall at the top of this bluff area, but it's lightly guarded. So the players are going to have to work through this. Now I have an idea here. I have a feeling that if they were super perceptive, maybe, or if they had information that they gathered from, you know, some kind of spy, this would be stuff they would have had to have done. Now, they wouldn't see this. I would describe it. I would imagine there's some kind of hidden cave or a door or some kind of, you know, royal area that would allow folks to come in and out of that area, kind of using the same area. But they would have to find this, or I've spent time learning this with the spy. So I want to do a dashed hidden entrance here. That would get them into like a dungeon area or a keep or some kind of, you know, secret cellar access to the castle keep itself. I think the next one would be to 3, and we're talking that this is just like a maybe a guard post or an outlook, but what they're really looking for is sails that are out in the water. So they're not necessarily looking for raiders coming over the wall. It's more like that distant look for, you know, a large sailing warship that they would then put up the warning for. So there's nothing blocking them coming through here. But for color, they might have someone on a telescope. It could be a guard that's asleep because this is a pretty safe area. Nobody's usually coming into this area. But there's color from this that would also be a stairwell that I think leads down into the grounds inside the wall of the keep. And I'm going to throw another dash because I think there would be guards on duty down there. And I'm pretty sure it would be lit. So now they would be faced with, it's a lit area. There's a very active patrol, probably a patrol that's even guarding access up onto the barricades or up to the lookout spot. I'll call this 4. And again, all of this would be listed over here. Now you're saying, well, this last way, I could do it any way I want. Would there then be, if this is the ground level, there would have to be something right into the keep itself? Yes. I think, again, that this would be guarded. So I might throw yet another blocking area. The rules say just do 2, but then Chris McDowall says break it, change it, do whatever you feel is necessary. And again, I would be listing this, keep shading it that way, I would be listing this probably just in pencil or pen off to the side. This would be my document, and then I would describe things to the players as they're working through it. But I could see the point to point. Now they might want to draw this or something similar up themselves, but this would just tell me really easily what they're dealing with, where they're at on the map, or if they even split the party. Now, what might this other little triangle be over here? Maybe it is horses. Maybe it's their stables. So it might be another way to get out of there. And you could definitely access that from the courtyard, which again is guarded, but you would, I'm sure, be able to access it from the keep itself, but they may not keep their horses right inside the keep. I like that. And it would pose another way for an exit. I don't think these would be blocked. So we would have our sections. And now I have an option of like a whole different way in. So I've got my main arrow, and if they hit that section 1, they might find a secret door. But maybe there is an area for a stable boy that takes out what he cleans from the barn. So just another arrow, but dotted. Would it be hidden? I don't know. And maybe I'm wrong with that. Maybe the arrow could be, let's do that. I don't think that would be hidden. That's a terrible arrow. But let's go with there's yet another secret way in and out of the keep. So done properly, you might be able to find the secret entrance that would allow access to the water, but then there's something else, maybe a cellar that allows you out into the water area itself. But you get an idea of what this, let me come out, is doing on its list, and it uses the nice simple area of the circles, the triangles, and then treasures being the diamonds. So whatever's inside that keep is where the valuables are at. That way I can keep track of everything along the way. So, and then to cover again, the rules just say there's 3 open routes, which are the direct lines. 2 are, in my case, 3 crossed or difficult routes that will take some creativity by the players to get through them. And then of course my 1 dotted line and my dotted arrow that show there's secret entrances or abilities that if they gained secret information, spying, rumors, whatever, that they might have an alternate path in. And then again, comes with the breakdown that this is just a guide. You can break it in any way you want. Love it. That 1 page is indicative of other areas of the book where there's just a wealth of gameplay knowledge that you can use in any game, any system, just to run things kind of quick and dirty. Chief, bonding with board games and RPGs.